Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Dustin Feyder, author of the book Read Twilight. My third book, The Storyteller, has just hit shelves. And so I've decided that I'm now going to do a couple of short readings from my newest book. I'll be starting my reading today on page 8, chapter 1. Mother Corn is a young kobold. Kobolds are best described as a humanoid race that is both small and timid, mouse-like in appearance. Corn is far from exceptional in that regard. She has long front teeth and silvery black-white speckled fur, long and slick, as well as bright blue eyes. So too do her 7 children, only 6 of which travel with her today. The 7th stayed with the forest medicine mouse. Corn has traveled to the old acres in search of the maiden called Jessica the Weaver. She remembers when she was a dumpling herself. Jessica the Weaver was a loved and admired woman. But after an argument with the spiritual leader, and to be lord of the clan, she was labeled a witch and banished the dark side of the Isles. It was a sad day for the clan, but Jessica had quiet dignity. She made no fuss as she left, with nothing but her red cloak hung from her back, a bronze chain around her neck, and a walking stick in hand. The clan, on the other hand, were more than disconcerted. The loss of their weaver resulted in much of the tribe turning against the church and creating their own government. That was over 10 seasons ago, and Corn can only hope that time has been good for the weaver, for she desperately needs her wisdom. The forest is dark and dead at this end. The trees are white. The land is gray. The trees flutter with black feathers. Deep red eyes come into sight from high on the treetops. Corn hastens her children's step. Evil black birds descend upon them. Their beaks of steel nip at the children's neck. Mother Corn throws herself at the birds, protecting them with the utmost affection and ferocity. The birds fall from the trees like armies of dead. Claws grip at Corn's wrist, and beaks attack her thighs. The evil birds cry out in victory as the mouse maiden falls to her back. Vampirically they drink from her wounds. Boldly the boy called Pepper reaches into the mud and draws out a hefty bit of wood. With all the force he can muster, he pulls the stick overhead and cleaves down at the winged devils on his mother's legs. The girl called Cream follows her twin's lead. Gripping another by its wings, she bites at the crow. Frightened by the assault, the birds fly up into the trees to regroup for yet another assault. Butter and Garlic, the 2 younger of the group, take Corn by the arms and pull her to her feet. Limping, the family fumbles to the trees. Blackbirds taunt them from behind, the scent of fresh blood filling their hearts with fire and their veins with lust. Ahead the trees turn greener, and a voice from the trees beckons them onwards, as if the woods themselves are pushing the family onward, as does the soft voice awaiting them in the grotto. Come forth, darlings, and make all haste. An untraditional kobold awaits with bright tanned fur and robe, not earth-toned like the ones Corn and her children don, but one like that in the old times, with the color of a town's flag about it. Vibrant red, commanding attention, is her color, with golden inner linings. The kobold stands slightly hunched forward, and has no fur on her tail or hands, unlike Corn. Atop her nose sits 2 bits of crystal held together by needle and string. "I see you, Kari. Face me if you dare," she whispers to the trees, the black birds fluttering from atop them. Passing from darkness into light, Corn and her family cross an unseen wall that seems to emanate from within the powerful and beautiful weaver. The birds turn away. Corn cannot understand what has transpired, only that she and her children were offered salvation. Upon catching her breath, Corn raises herself from the prism of blossoms and falls into the loving arms of Jessica the Weaver. Despite 10 more seasons passed, she instantly recognizes the face of the heroic storyteller. Corn dares not speak a word. Jessica instead offers greeting. "You are weary, darling. Please come inside." The motherly weaver cradles the young mouse mother, wrapping her cloak about her and leading the lot into the modest hut. Page 10. "Discard your garbs. You're covered in filth," Jessica requests of the children as they step inside. Child nor mother protest. Jessica leads Corn into the back of the tiny house and binds her wounds with a cloth and rope. "Limwings, hideous little beast," she whispers as she works. Pepper, still brandishing the branch he found, interrupts Jessica's work. "You're Jessica the Weaver. The medicine mouse tells me you're a witch." Jessica need not look up from her bindings to respond. He is not wrong, but I would hardly call him right. "What do you think, little Pepper, slayer of crows? Am I, let's say A, am I a practitioner of the dark arts? And if I were, would that mean anything to you?" She playfully grins at the tiny warrior. "You know my name?" he asked, looking shocked. "I know all your names. Pepper, you are the firstborn, eldest by 55 whole minutes. You have 4 sisters. In order they are cream, butter, salt, and mint. She claims to be the youngest of the girls, but she is older than garlic by 3 whole minutes. Then add your other brother, Onion, and that makes 7. Strange I don't see him here." Pepper looks around for a moment, as if to search the room for the key to solve this puzzle. "How do you know?" "I know because I must know." Pepper moves in cautiously, almost hopping into Jessica. "You whispered to the trees a name, Kari. Who is that?" Pepper stands nose to nose with Jessica. Jessica faces him, placing one hand atop his cheek. "If every heart in the world filled with love belonged to me, then everyone filled with sadness would be her." Pepper's eyes turn, soft with inquiry. "Why is she sad?" Jessica sits her hand to Corn's stomach, whispering to her, "Rest a spell. We will have much to discuss soon." She turns her attention back on Pepper. "You certainly want to know a lot, don't you?" Pepper nods. "The crow always plays the melancholy hero. A life filled with magic that can harm or heal any that she may wish, but never can she see the magic for herself. The crow wants only one thing, but fate transpires to say never will they have it." Pepper leans in close. The two share a breath. With wide eyes, he asks, "What does the crow want?" Jessica rests her nose atop Pepper's ear, speaking ever so softly as she hugs the boy. "To draw warm breath and to feel soft skin." Pepper shudders in Jessica's arms. Why can't they have it? Jessica's lips touched his ear. The crow traded her heart for wings and her skin to learn to fly, she explained softly. Would you trade your skin to fly? It is a tantalizing puzzle, isn't it? Pepper's mouth drops, and eyes widen as he envisions the diabolic nature of the blackbird. Jessica playfully wraps her teeth around one of his ears. Now go and watch after your sisters whilst I finish up with your mother. Pepper walks out of the room, a slight jitter to his step, his tail slightly elevated from the unfamiliar feeling of both fear and excitement Jessica has inspired. How old are they? They must be close to 12 seasons, practically adults already. Corn looks up, feeling her bandages. Heavens, no. They're not yet 10. Did you spot Pepper's little skip there? He is already showing signs of... Corn cuts Jessica off. Stop that. I'm not ready to think about that yet. There are advantages to having mature offspring, you know. Page 12. You naughty old hermit, Corn slaps Jessica playfully, but then recoils as her wounds start hemorrhaging. Jessica forces her into a lying position. You must sit still, girl, or you'll bleed out. Corn calms herself. Why is an onion with you? And for that matter, what are you doing so far from the burrows? It is at least a half-day's walk to the village from here. Onion is quite unwell. The medicine mouse said he has consumption. The medicine mouse thinks if I go to Elec Mountain, I'll find magic to heal him. A mother's journey, I see. I have been there. My family once lived atop the mountain. It is unfair to ask anyone to make that walk, to risk so much. Only those who truly understand the weight of life dare try. The weaver lets out a long, hard breath as she thinks about the long road Corn will have to walk. So why come to me? The crier told me about the road to Elec, told me to see to it that my earthly affairs are in line. My only concern is that my children have to have young of their own. Should I not come home, I want you to choose mates for them and protect them till they are strong enough to do so on their own. And for that you beseech a witch? Aren't you brave? Jessica's eyes close, and a slight smirk finds her lips. Storyteller, when I was a girl, I used to hear you spin your webs day and night. You are no witch. You are a merciful angel. You are too kind. Jessica runs one hand through Corn's hair, rubbing down one ear and across her muzzle. You must sleep now. I will do your bidding. The diversity of Corn's children is overwhelmingly dynamic, despite all of them supposedly having the same father. Between the two boys, Pepper is the more aggressive, Onion is a pacifist. Garlic is by far the tallest of the kids, standing even 2 inches over her mother. But she is timid, and homely, most would say. Butter is short and plump, but was the first of the girls to start showing signs of maturity. Cream is the most like her mother, soft-spoken, but still frisky when frightened or angry. Mint is wonderstruck, always sniffing about, looking for new things. Salt is the most childish, and a follower by nature, while still mischievous, more often than not, reinforcing all of Garlic and Pepper's worst ideas. Pepper walks back into the main room of the hovel. Salt is whispering with Garlic, who is, in turn, blushing bashfully. Garlic offers Salt a playful push away and just barely loud enough for the others to hear softly yells, "No, I won't! You filthy little rat!" Mint and Butter turn their attention to the quiet bantering. Cream shakes herself off and looks back to Pepper. Is Mother well? The witch claims she needs to sleep. The witch claims she needs to sleep. Pepper replies. Weaver, Garlic corrects him. Whatever! Pepper yells to her. Cream cuts them off. Will you two hush down? Mint's nose twitches as she falls onto all fours and starts looking about. Butter reaches down and pulls her tail as she walks past. She tugs up on it, and Mint snarls in turn. What are you sniffing at? Butter asks. Smells like burning meat, Mint explains. Cream looks about. I don't smell anything but sun-baked flowers. My nose is stronger than yours. It's old meat. Like salt-packed meat. Mint goes on. Pepper looks confused. Like that fake skin Dad likes? Garlic scoffs. It wasn't fake skin. He killed a bear and cooked the skin into a blanket. Mint pushes the spice cabinet aside to reveal a hidden door. Without giving it a second thought, Mint swings open the door to reveal a room filled with cabinets overflowing with leather parchment and a fire pit, an armchair, and an arched treasure chest, a cauldron, flowers that glow like captive flames, and a tapestry for a rug showing some beast of an ancient race with powdered white hair and pastel robes gathering around a table reading a papyrus. The children nearly pile on top of one another to look at the room. What is this place? Mint, cream, butter, and salt all ask, looking to Garlic and Pepper. Page 14. Pepper looks down to Mint at the bottom of the dog pile. You open the door, you tell us. Mint takes the lead, and walking in, she walks around a moment looking back. It's Jessica's bedroom. I don't see a bed, Garlic questions as nibbling on one of her fingers. Cream speaks up. Who hides their bedroom anyway? Pepper picks up one of the parchments. There's clearly a storeroom for whatever these are. Salt bounces up and down. Is it delicious? Put it in your mouth and see. Don't. It's some kind of cloth. Garlic cuts in. Jessica sneaks in the room behind them. That is the source of the Weaver's power. The kids scream and huddle around one another. Jessica walks around and takes the scroll from Pepper. She unrolls it and looks at the first line. The late autumn's ride, she smiles. For as long as most can remember, history has been kept by the Weavers in an audible format. We tell our children stories, and then they tell them to their children in turn. But there was a time when the Huma had too many stories to remember, so they learned to draw sounds, so they couldn't forget. Salt cuts in. What is a Huma? They were the third great race. After the Tamriel and the Fae came the Huma, then the Gidron, the Darkling, and finally the Kobold. The Huma were the most powerful of the great and ancient ones. Their power only rivaled by Kari, Jessica explains. Then they were gone. I'm sorry. Then why are they gone? Cream asked. If the words in these scrolls are true, it is because they fought Kari for control of all creation, but lost. Pepper comes in. That doesn't sound so great and mighty. Kari's afraid of you, after all. Her minions fear me, Jessica points out. Birds and wolves flee from me, but Kari, as we know her today, is only a memory of a greater beast called Kravix, the god king of our world. Brightly, Jessica smiles as her eyes lower. But that was a distant time, when the god kings were cruel. Today is a different day. As long as we stay near our holes, the gods and their kin keep their distance, and to that we are thankful. Vindictive gods are a troublesome thing. Garlic pipes in. You talk as if you remember a time when they were. I do. At least I can see what things looked like before the peace tax. These scrolls talk about that time to great length. As far back as human history goes, they fought the gods, ill-content with the weakness and sickness bred into their beings. If ever one was to fight to overthrow the natural order and become masters of creation, it would have been them. Feyder sits alongside Jessica, looking up to her. You idolize them. I feel they are deserving. Even the tongue we speak with today is inherited from them. Your name, Butter, was one they made up. In Huma, it means to spin cream of milk. She places a hand between Butter's ears and rubs down her nose. Butter laughs in turn. Would you like me to read from one of the Huma scrolls for you? The kids move in close, at Jessica's feet. I'll start with the one you found, Pepper. And that's the end of Chapter 1. Chapter 2 starts on page 16.